Your money, your rules. In today's video, we are going to talk about how to come up with a realistic budget that works for you. And in this video, we are also going to reveal the things that people don't want you to know about budgeting. Hello good people, Jessie is my name, and on this channel we talk about personal finance and personal development. If this is your kind of content, kindly consider subscribing and turn on the notification bell so that you're notified every time we have a new upload. What are we going to be guided by on this video? We are going to look at a realistic budget from an ordinary person's perspective. What do you mean by an ordinary person? It is a person who has a static income or an income which is fluctuating but not yet there to have drastic income changes every other month. We're going to focus on 50-30-20 budgeting rule, which states that 50% you spend on your needs, 30% on your wants, and 20% on your savings and investments. We are going to further break them down into the respective percentages. I have written it down so that I can be able to give you the actuals. For the needs, I'm going to allocate needs by 50%, and this is how we're going to do it. Housing, we're going to give it 20%. That is a bit more realistic to be able to ensure that your income is in place. We have groceries, we give it 15%. We have transport, which we're going to give 10%. And we have utilities at 5%. So that is the 50% on the needs. We're going to go to the wants. For the wants, you consider entertainment at not more than 10% of your income. You have self-care at 5% of your income, subscriptions at 2%, miscellaneous at 5%, and then you have other expenses like black tax at 8%. I have put it higher than even some of the other expenses to ensure that you accommodate even the charities, expenses for your family, and such things. For the savings and investments, I also split it into 4. We have savings, we have loans, we have school fees, and we have investments. I included school fees for someone who has a child, but if you don't have a child, you can add the school fees portion to your savings. So for each, we're going to allocate 5%. So what are we going to do with our savings? We are going to use it as emergency fund. We are still going to use the part of the money to build our retirement savings. Of course, we have current goals, which also we're going to meet with this money that you're saving. You have any other expenses that can come up, like maybe you have car insurance expiring and all that. You can include them there. Leave a comment down below if you think this budget is realistic. I've had a tough debate on TikTok where people are insisting that this budget is not doable. The truth of the matter is this budget is what you can be able to achieve. If you're not meeting that budget or you feel your percentage is too small, you need to work harder. Or is it smart? And create a second source of income to ensure that you're being able to meet the needs as you desire. Your income is your determinant, but if you want to enhance your desires, then you need to increase your income. So the principles that we need to put in place is to ensure that despite the determinants of budgeting being your location, your lifestyle, and your income level, you're still conscious about how much you're making. 1, you need to ensure that your budget is realistic and is in line with your spending and your income. You need to ensure that your spending aligns with your income. If your spending is higher than your income, then automatically you need to create another source of income. And to be able to keep up within your budget, you need to ensure that you track your expenses. To track your expenses, you can just use a simple notebook just record all your expenses. You can use a spreadsheet, the Excel document, and also you can check out budgeting apps. That way you will be able to stick within your means, and whenever you feel like you're stepping out of your budget, you come back to your budget. To summarize the budgeting aspect, we're going to share the different principles you need to put into consideration before you finally call your budget a realistic one. Number one, your budget should be as realistic as it can get, and it should align with your income, which means you cannot have an expenditure which is higher than your income. And if you do, you need to figure out how you're going to bridge the gap or cut that expense out of your ordinary expenses. Leave a comment down below if you ever found yourself in this situation and what you did about it. The second rule, you need to prioritize your needs over your wants. When you get money, you ensure you meet all your needs before you start dining out, partying, and doing every other thing which comes at an extra cost or which is not within your budget. Once you pay your needs and you're also able to meet the wants that you cannot live without, then you can go back and do any other activity. But remember, the best budgeting approach is to have a zero budget, which means your expenses are equal to your income. And that does not mean you allocate all your money to your expenses. That means you allocate your money in a wisest approach possible, ensuring that you have savings and investments. So when I say you have a zero budget, I mean that includes your savings and investments. That way, then we can call it a zero budget. If your budget does not allow you to save or invest, you need to revisit your budget or increase your income. The next thing is pay yourself first. Just like we said, you have to save. You need to save first, then you spend the balance. But if you already have a working budget, you don't have to specifically say, I am first putting money in the saving. You can allocate it accordingly. Just make sure it is working and working well. The last thing is review and adjust on a regular basis. Sometimes you may have less money or less expenses, so you need to align everything that you are coming up with the funds that are available. Most of the time, the budget is determined by the money that you have. It's not what you desire. Sometimes when you find yourself not spending within your budget, you just go back and align it. If you find yourself in a situation of spending more, like sometimes you may find you have extra in charity, maybe you had an extra expense in medical or any other different expenses, that should be covered under emergency fund and it should not be straining your current budget. If you have a question, concern or challenge with your budgeting, you can leave a comment down below, or you can reach us on the email in the description box, or you can DM us on any of our social media pages, that is TikTok and Instagram, and we are going to respond. For those who have already put in their questions on the different platforms, the week has been tough, but we're going to address each and every question or concern or the discussion. And those ones we have bookings for discussions. This week was a bit hectic, but I will reschedule the meetings for the upcoming week, so do not feel discouraged for not getting a feedback. It's only that there are quite a number, but we are addressing each and every one of you. If you have watched this video this far, thank you so much for watching. We really appreciate your continued support, and we hope it has been helpful and it has impacted on your budgeting process. Before you sign off, make sure you leave a comment, whether you have a question or just a good thing. And if you have not subscribed, kindly consider subscribing and turn on the notification bell so that you're notified every time we have a new upload. See you on the next one. Bye.